Freedom Radio Hour. Live on Capital Radio 91.6 FM.
All right, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Freedom Radio Hour. I'm your host, DJ Adam Cruz, and I'm here with my fantastic co-host,
Eddie Nicholas. What up, beautiful people, and welcome to another episode of the Freedom Radio Hour, 91.6 FM, the Heartbeat of Sudan. Y'all know y'all better recognize it. You know, here we are again.
Yes, sir.
What's going on, sir?
Well, first of all, I'm so happy to see you.
Likewise.
Thanks for taking the time out again. Let us take a moment to let our viewers and our listeners know that the Freedom Radio Hour is here, not only giving you fantastic music, but we're here to be your number one source for music, business, news, and trends from around the globe. As my buddy said, we are live on Capital Radio 91.6 FM and on the web at freedomradiohour.com. Thank you in advance for liking, sharing, commenting on all of our content.
Yes.
We have that YouTube channel. We have a direct website. We have a free app. Check us out. Search out Freedom Radio Hour, Eddie Nicholas and Adam Cruz. Thank you. Let's jump right in. There's a lot of news today.
Yes. But you know what? I want to start with something there because usually I let you start.
I know, and I was tripping because before we got on camera, I was talking. I'm like, have you seen this article on Mr. West?
Mr. Kanye West. You know, I'm going to admit I'm not a big fan of his.
Okay.
But at the same token, I follow him because of the charismatic personality that he has. And as artists, we always try to find some type of niche or nook that we can kind of fit in. Now, as we all know, Kanye has millions of fans that follow him worldwide, and he has some controversial stuff about himself. But lately, I've been following him because of, I'm just going to call it his marketing genius.
Okay.
When it comes to what he has been doing with this Sunday, I guess it's what, Sunday sermon? Or
the Sunday service.
The Sunday service. Somehow he has managed to, I guess you want to call it reinvent himself and take himself out to the masses once again and giving, I guess, what you call a religious fever for folks. Because again, we're always looking for someone to follow in the old Pointer Sister songs. If you're going to believe in somebody, if you're going to believe in something, why not believe in me? Well, evidently a lot of y'all believe in Kanye West because y'all been following him. But the flip side comes now, again, when we talk about free versus paid.
Right, because I was going to ask you, so if you wanted to go to the Sunday service, how much did it cost you?
Well, the Sunday service was originally free.
So, okay, so when he first started doing it, you walked in for free, and then you get what?
You get nothing but him.
No, but I mean, yeah, so you get this concert.
You get a concert. You get a free concert.
Yeah, starring Kanye West.
Starring Kanye West.
And a choir, right?
And a choir singing, thank you, songs like Stand for the Word and Follow Me. Again, we love Kanye.
And his own stuff, too.
And his own stuff, too, mixed up in there.
Right.
So with that, he began to add special little services. One of the services was that you paid $50 to attend, and you had breakfast, I believe, with Kanye West.
Oh, like a meet and greet
like
type of
a
thing?
meet and greet. Well, that $50 breakfast turned to be out grits, I guess a slab of meat, some toast, and some eggs.
It looked like the most pitiful little plate you ever did see.
And if you missed out on something, that was it. But again,
I have to say, that plate needed thoughts and prayers a lot.
So you saw the plate.
I saw the plate, and if you didn't, just search it out. But basically, it's this chintzy-looking little plate of food. It just was for $50. It just seemed to be opportunistic.
Well, I guess that's the word. Marketing.
Opportunism.
How does all of that work? It works hand in hand for the mere fact that when you do these things, that they just keep going on, and you have to find a way to make it work. And evidently, he's found a way to make it work.
But I have issue with all of this. You know why? Because he is making money from, well, he can make money from where he wants, right? But I feel like it's this weird thing because he's playing on people's heartstrings. You know, nobody loves a story better than the prodigal son.
Yes.
The redeemer, the redemption of it all. people love to see the story of somebody who's gone all out there acting crazy or irrational, whatever, and then they find the light and they have this come to Jesus moment. That's where it comes from, and they have this newfound awareness. There's nothing wrong with that, and most people would applaud that epiphany, that realization. But in Kanye's case, he's still exhibiting a lot of irrational behavior, which tells me that maybe his health situation's not up to par just yet. And so by reinventing himself, he's still showing his true colors. For example, he was talking about he's ready to change his name to Christian Genius Billionaire West something. Yeah, so I'm like,
well, ain't no difference to Snoop Dogg. Come on now.
Well, I was going to mention him because he had his moment where he did that Snoop Lion. So he was trying to be somebody's Bob Marley.
Yes.
Doing this whole reggae project. And so he was...
And did a gospel album, if I'm not mistaken, won a Grammy.
But I was going to say, the first religious album wasn't just that gospel album that he's talking about, that Eddie's talking about. I'm talking about Snoop's Lion album. Why? Because that was supposed to be religious. Remember, he was supposed to be either in the midst of or seriously considering converting to Rastafarianism, which is a religion that he was really connecting with in Jamaica while he made the album.
Yes.
So if you buy into these stories thinking that this man's dealing with a spiritual transformation, but just like he went on that, he left that alone, went back to his original roots, and now, to Eddie's point, then he released the gospel project. Maybe gospel's the new
hip hop choice.
Yeah.
But you know, even though they've been doing it forever, you know, let's not take away the gospel artists that have made strides in, you know, with the rap and the hip hop, because they're doing phenomenal work.
But you haven't seen it the other way around like you're seeing it now.
No, you haven't. But you know, hey, as I always say, when you have that type of personality that people gravitate towards, you run with it, and that's evidently what he has been doing. He has been given the opportunity to once again have a platform.
That's right.
And having that platform, he's able to reach out and due to the marketing, you know, hey, somebody got to be charged because security got to be paid for, the arena or the place, the park or whatever. All that stuff has to be paid for.
I will say this. I love that he's trying something different in the sense that while most of us will go, oh, here we go, Mr. Kanye West doing something else controversial. But as an artist, you do have to think outside the box,
exactly.
Especially where we're talking about streaming and how it's gone awry and how little money you make from that kind of income. And that's like 80% of the way we consume music. So you can't blame Kanye West for looking at other ways to make income as an artist. Let's take a break. When we come back right here on the Freedom Radio Hour, we'll talk about the latest goings on around streaming and net neutrality, YouTube, all that good stuff. So keep it locked. We'll be right back. Where?
91.6 FM, Freedom Radio Hour, the heartbeat of Sudan.
From author and music industry leader Adam Cruz, check out the new book, Free the Music Business, Tips and Tales from an Indie Music Nerd. Available now on paperback, Kindle, audiobook, and soundtrack, courtesy of Mixtape Sessions.
Freedom Radio Hour. Live on Capital Radio 91.6 FM.
What up, beautiful people, and welcome back to the Freedom Radio Hour, 91.6 FM, the heartbeat of Sudan, and the Freedom Radio Hour, of course, and also part of Mixtape Sessions. I'm Eddie Nicholas. I'm one of your co-hosts, and I'm here with my wonderful, knowledgeable co-host. Now, I couldn't believe he let me start the show off earlier today, but we're going to turn it back over to him, the one and only Mr.
Adam Cruz. You're live and direct right here on the Freedom Radio Hour, your number one source for music, business news, and trends from around the globe. That's right, you had a great start to it because it really lends itself perfectly to this next segment, which is really all about net neutrality.
Okay.
You see, you can't blame Mr. Kanye West and other artists for thinking about outside the box, jumping genres, and finding other marketing ways to make money when we have streaming and all of the income that's derived from that jeopardized not only by streaming companies that consolidate their powers and then they'll mess with the how fast or slow the connections are, but telecommunications industries that are in the process of merging. So some quick news items, we're going to kind of jump around here. You got T-Mobile and Sprint have just been approved. They will be merging. It will be one of the largest mergers in history. So now you're having...
I am aghast. They let that go through?
They did.
Ooh.
The other news is that AT&T had to pay $60 million in fines because they have admitted that while they advertised their unlimited data plans, they were actually throttling users at a certain level. That means they were slowing down your ability to access
if you weren't paying into
at a certain part of the pay cycle.
And as if you weren't paying into their service.
Exactly. So this is exactly the things that we talk about on this show. We talk about precisely the problem when you give power like that over to the telecommunications industry and what they'll do. Not only will they do things like what we've just described, but they'll also lobby certain points of view. And I didn't know this, but we have to go back to the summer of 2018 for the following information. You know that net neutrality in the summer of 2018 was repealed officially, and that repeal took effect. Up until then, there was an agreement that telecom industry would allow data to be transmitted on the internet equally. There was a thing called the Open Internet Order. It was an Obama-era rule. Everybody abide by that rule. Well, as soon as that, the hands switched over and we have our current administration with Ajit Pai as the head of the FCC, all of that fell to the wayside. They repealed net neutrality, that agreement, in other words. And so by the summer of 2018, you have studies that are being conducted to see what happened when the repeal took effect. So there was a great article and investigation, in fact, conducted by The Verge. And what they did was they found that there's always a period of public commenting that's left up on these websites. So when they introduce legislation, we have the right as citizens here in the US to leave public comments. They also allow a thing called mass commenting. And what that is like, let's say you're advocating from a certain organization and they have a little form and you could advocate, hey, everybody, you could send a note to your FCC to tell them to maintain net neutrality. So they allow that mass commenting from an organization if they do that. So that's legitimate, right? But what they found, The Verge did, is crazy amount of data breach stuff that's going out. Fake comments, people that were dead, that were leaving comments. And also they would say, oh, Eddie Nicholas left this comment that was pro-repeal, but you were interviewed by The Verge and I didn't leave such a comment. And so what the other thing that they really found out was these data breaches that we see in the news, leaks of data that's come out, and we go, oh, what happened here? Well, all of your personal information and my personal information is sitting on these servers that from a flick of a switch or some sort of hacking going on, all of that information gets leaked. We're publicly accessed, in other words. So hackers all over the world can now take that information and use it against you or to get leverage around the world. So what they found, The Verge, is a plethora of those comments that were specifically matching from the data breach. So what I'm trying to tell y'all, if you're into the music game, is what we're seeing now is you can't even go by some of the comments that you might see around you, because the implication here is that through a flick of a switch, or depending on who the trolls are, you could have a bunch of fake comments and you might take it as real sentiment around. You remember how we talked in previous episodes about the power of sentiment tracking people, what they say about your music? But what if those comments are generated by algorithms and bots and are fake?
Which many are. Which many are.
So these are the things that if you're an artist and you're engaging, I think it's time. The biggest takeaway I could say right now is pay attention. And stop falling into fake news. What are the fake news? When you put that clause up, I do not own the rights to this music, and you post your
You daggone sure don't own it.
But it doesn't matter that you're including that phrasing. Stop using the phrase. You're playing into this fake commenting that we're talking about. Granted,
that protects you.
Yeah, I'm making correlations here, but I want you to understand that we're all participating in a lot of the fake commenting that goes on because we're not educating ourselves around real things. So net neutrality is a big problem because it dictates how fast or slow you can access the music you love. And also, depending on where you live, you may not have broadband. And also, the other tea that came out from this investigation that I want to tell you was who was funding a lot of this stuff? The broadband industry itself. because it behooves them to make sure that the comments are favorable towards them. So
yes.
if these companies like Media Bridge was one, another one's called LCX, another that they tout this business of pay us money and then we flood comments based on your point of view.
Based on the point of view. But thank goodness New Jersey was one of those states that made sure that we had protections.
Yes.
So
what Eddie is saying is that they have basically doubled down on their commitment to maintain net neutrality. And New Jersey is among several states now that have doubled down. And it's separate because they see the importance of keeping things neutral.
Exactly.
Because if you leave it to telecom, look at AT&T. They've been fined $60 million for lying. Hey, you got an unlimited data plan. Oh, not really. It's not really unlimited. It's really.
And they should have been charged more. That is a almost $1 trillion multi-billion dollar company. So that corporation. So that $60 million was probably them, but a drop in the bucket.
That's breakfast.
Yes.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about this music business news, especially the latest terms and conditions that YouTube changed on you. Want to tell you about it.
I want to know too.
On Freedom Radio Hour.
See, I was so excited I kind of interrupted him because I want to know too. 91.6 FM, the Heartbeat of Sudan, Freedom Radio Hour, y'all. Mixtape sessions. Come on back.
From author and music industry leader Adam Cruz, check out the new book, Free the Music Business, Tips and Tales from an Indie Music Nerd. Available now on paperback, Kindle, audiobook, and soundtrack, courtesy of Mixtape Sessions.
Freedom Radio Hour.
And we're back live on Capital Radio, 91.6 FM, the Heartbeat of Sudan. You're deep in the zone right here on the Freedom Radio Hour, your number one source for music, business news, and trends from around the globe. I'm sitting here next to my fantastic co-host,
Eddie Nicholas. What up, beautiful people, and welcome back to another segment. Let's jump right in, Mr. Cruz.
Yes. Okay, so I wanted to tell you guys the latest goings on with YouTube. You know, with all of these services, when you first sign up, you need to agree to their terms and conditions.
Yes.
Most of us, we don't even read any of it. We'll just go ahead and say whatever and click OK and keep it moving. After you click OK, occasionally you'll get another notice to update or to re-agree to the new terms because they made a change.
Yes.
Well, just recently, YouTube have made quite a change, and I think you should know about it. They're basically saying that at any point at their discretion, if they feel that your channel and your content is no longer commercially viable, they will up and cancel, remove your Google account along with all of your content. This is the latest terms and conditions update that they've just talked about, and people are going crazy right now. They're saying, quote, YouTube may terminate your access or your Google account's access to all or part of the service if YouTube believes in its sole discretion that provision of the service to you is no longer commercially viable.
For them.
For them. So this is on the surface. Some people are saying this is a way in which YouTube can start to curtail some of the extremism that's happening online. You know, there's these extreme groups, be it religious or political or what have you, that engage in content that's against their service.
Okay.
So they've been removing content and channels accordingly. But now they've updated their terms and conditions to basically create a blanket agreement that says, at our sole discretion, we can go ahead and decide to up and remove your accounts, as well as all of your content. And so let's say if you're already making money from your channel and it's already being monetized, they could up and demonetize you. We talked about that already at a moment's notice or no notice, but now they can up and delete everything you've ever put up. And so what we're seeing, some say, is this slippery slope that jeopardizes the First Amendment now. You see, the problem we have is we think that YouTube is this free access, this free
and it's owned.
It's privately owned. We talked about it before. YouTube is owned by Google, who's owned by Alphabet. So they're not this not a public library. You're not squatting. This is a private corporation that's giving you access to their service. but they can do whatever they wish with your content, your name, your likeness. That's what your terms and conditions are there for you to review and agree or disagree. But this is a big deal because now I think, what's the takeaway if you're an artist? Well, I think when it comes to Facebook and YouTube, we're under the realization now that we're putting too little of our eggs in these baskets. What I mean, I'm saying that wrong, I think. I'm trying to say that we're putting our hopes and dreams on these one or two services, all of our eggs in one basket. That's what I meant. So like you have Facebook and you have YouTube. We're just, most of our artists are using that primarily. Your
and
Facebook.
even Instagram is owned by Facebook.
Yeah, so now you're like still in the same park. You know? And so what I'm saying is, as an artist, you really got to think about other avenues for getting your content out there. So maybe you need to look at alternatives to YouTube. You can look at Periscope, look at, there's a myriad. If you just do a little Google, which is, you have to be careful now. You got to realize that all of the stuff that we're engaging in, all of that activity, all of the posting and sharing and promoting is all living in a space that you don't own.
And as we found out, a lot of former sites no longer exist. Flipagram no longer exists.
Right.
Flipagram turned into some other Vimo or something like that. So I clearly hear what you're saying, looking into these other venues, and not only that, going back to your like ASCAP and BMI, they have a wonderful forum for artists to be able to present their music as well as get information on what they need to be doing, health information, all types of information. So you've got to expand.
So I think so what Eddie's talking to clarify here is that when you sign up with a performance rights organization, not only do you have the ability to have them track your music's performance rights whenever it's played on the radio, TV, in a restaurant, or when you perform it somewhere, they also will give you literature and invitations to join symposiums, talks, discussions, forums. So in other words, take advantage, if you're an artist, of the services that are oftentimes included with membership.
Exactly.
Anyway, I think that's all the time we have for today, but I want you guys to understand how important this time that we're living in is for you as an artist, because you're seeing this interesting push-pull thing happen with the way that we consume music being really puppeted by telecom, because they control our ability to access music by virtue of controlling our internet connection.
And not only that, making everything app accessible.
Yes, exactly. So all of that is playing into this role of further consolidation of power. Like I said, you have T-Mobile and Sprint now have merged. So you're going to see a lot of this in the future, and I think it's going to be more important than ever to remind ourselves to not engage in fake information, commenting or phrasing like "I do not own the rights to this music," and other things that if we take the extra second, we realize, oh, this is probably not correct.
And it's always a question of, all you gotta do is just dig a little deeper.
Yes.
The information is always there.
Exactly.
So you just search it out.
Well, thanks so much for tuning in to the Freedom Radio Hour. Make it your business to check out EddieNicholas.com. He has a brand new single entitled Revolution. Also, his album, Do You Wanna Dance, is available everywhere. Also, check out my book, Free the Music Business, Tips and Tales from an Indie Music Nerd. Or if you'd rather listen, I'm available on Audible, Amazon, on Lulu. Check me out. Brand new music, search out Adam Cruz and Eddie Nicholas. And thank you to our broadcasting partners at Capital Radio. And visit our website and our app and all our good stuff, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you next time. Have a great weekend and a great week ahead.
91.6 FM, the Heartbeat of Sudan, Freedom Radio Hour, y'all, mixtape sessions. Peace, love, soul, and hair. Peace. We're out.